Hi everybody, I am Durga Prasad. I'm having around 7+ experience as a UI developer. So in this session, I'm going to cover what are the basic technologies needed for a UI developer in order to develop some web pages. So I'll be covering what the basic technologies like HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So before going to that, so let me show you what actually a web page means. So what are the content in how it looks like and all. So let me show you the basic example. So as we all know the page, so we'll go for google.com. So this itself is a web application. So a page, if you see, so a page which is having an image, which is having some text box, which is having some 2 buttons following with 2 links. So if you give some text, some football. So on click of the text and on click of search, it is showing some results. So this actually is a web application. So this is the job of a UI developer. So a job of UI developer is to develop some web application which will be rendered inside your browser. Okay. So like this, like any web application which you see in your browser is being developed, with the basic technologies which I'm going to discuss now. Okay. So let us see what are the technologies which you're going to see. Okay. So as a UI developer, the minimum and the basic technologies which will be needed are HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So we'll be covering the minimum knowledge on each and every topic now. So coming to the HTML, so with the full form it is Hypertext Markup Language. So this is the hypertext markup language in which we are going to specify everything in the form of a tags. So everything is in the form of a tags which we are going to define as the HTML. Okay, so let me show you and I'll explain you. So the basic structure of a HTML is, this is how it is going to be shown. HTML. So whatever we are going to, the starting of a HTML page will be HTML tag and the closing will be the HTML tag. So this is called as a tag. Text inside the closing and open, less than and greater than angular symbols, and the closing tag is with an extra symbol / operator. So this is called as a closing tag and this is called as open tag. Okay, so what we are going to define inside HTML page should be inside this HTML tag only. And now this HTML tag will contain 2 main parts. One is the head part and another is something called a body. So these are the 2 main parts of a HTML page. Now what content will go inside a head part and what are the content will go inside a body part? So let us see. So the head part will be containing the extra information of your page. Not the content of the page, but the extra information like the title, some meta tag information, some external CSS including, some external JavaScript including. So I'll be discussing what all these are, but like as per your, just for your knowledge, and the head tag we'll be specifying the titles and meta tag information. So let us use something called as title tag here. So what does a title tag means? The title tag specifies the title of the web page being displayed. So I'm just giving my title as my demo. Okay, so I'm saving this page as some demo.html. So any web application should be saved with an extension called as .html. Then because like when the browser is actually rendering the page, basing on the extension it will identify, okay, so if the page is demo.html, okay, the browser will identify that the user has given me a web application, HTML page, I have to render in such way. Okay, so that is the reason we actually give this as an extension. Now I'm just saving it. Okay, now coming to the body part. So what actually the body contains? Body contains the content which should be shown inside the page. Okay, so assume like I am giving something called hello. Oh, this is my text. Okay, So this let me run this. So how do you going to run this? In order to run any web application, the only software we need is your browser. Every browser is capable of running a web application. Browser itself will have an engine which will run the web application. So if you see, when I'm running this page, so it just shows me something called hello all, and if you see the title, it is called my demo. So whatever the text we define inside this title tag, it has been shown as a title, and the content whatever been we defined inside a body tag, that is been shown inside the as a content. So this is a simple basic HTML page. So not just this head HTML and body tags, we have thousands and thousands of HTML tags, and those will be using according to our requirement. Okay, so now in this session I want to cover very two basic types of tags, that is called as inline tags and block level elements. Okay, so let's see. Consider like I want to give this hello all inside another tag called as div. So what actually a div is? Div is one type of block level element. Okay, so I'm saying block level element. So what does it mean? So block level elements are something called whatever we define inside. We can even give some child tags also. We can give a tag inside this tag also. So when we are going to give the content inside this tag, it is going to treat that everything as a single block. So everything we define inside this will be a single block. So when we give another block, the another block will continue from the next line, but it never continue to the existing one. Okay, assume like I'm going to give some another hello all. Assume like this is hello all 1 and this is hello all 2. So let us run this page and see. So if you see, it is giving hello all 1 and the second one is hello all 2. So if you see here, it is not continuing the next element, but it is coming to next line and it is going to show the content. So this is called as block level elements. Now what are inline elements? So we have the inline element. The example is span tag. Okay, so as I said, every tag will follow either is block level element, head, body, anything will follow the same, that is open tag and close tag give inside. Assume like test1 and I'm going to give another span element with some test2. Now let us run this and see how it is going to see. So if you see here, hello all 1 and hello all 2 are on two different lines, but even though this test1 is in one tag and test2 is in another tag, but it has come to the very next in the same line. So that is called as an inline element. So it never follows its next line. So it will be like within the same line. The browser will treat it as a single line element. So this is called as block level element and this is called as inline elements. Okay, so this is a very basic view of your HTML page. Now, so like hello all. Okay, now my page is having something like this, hello all. So now using HTML, we could able to develop the text being shown inside a page. Now, what if I want to add some beautification to my page? Now what if like for this hello all, I want to change the color and I want to add some font size. So how you're going to do? So that is where our next technology comes, called as CSS, Cascading Style Sheets. So using CSS, we can define some more features, more attributes for your text inside your HTML and add its more beautification for that. So assume like I want to add some font size for this hello all. So how you're going to do? So we have every tag has its different properties or like attributes. So every tag will have this property called as style, which will take the content inside in inverted commas. So consider like I want to give the font size. So we have one predefined attribute called as font size. I'm just giving something called as 20 px. So we can give the size in the form of either percentages or pixels. So where we don't define the complete word pixels, but instead we just give something called as px, and I want to change the color also. So we have a predefined something called as color. I assume like I want to give something called as blue. So just want to define it again, just want to explain it again. We have a property called as style, in which we can define individual style properties. So here I have given something called font size and color. So let us see how the browser is going to render it. So if you run it, see here, the hello all has been, the size has been changed to 20px and the color has been changed to blue. We can assume like I even gone to for the difference. I'm just giving is 40 pixel. Run it, see how it is coming. So that is called as CSS. So by using CSS we can't show the content, but by using CSS we can make the content to be more beautification. So we can add some styling properties by using CSS. So there are different ways to define a CSS also. Okay, assume like I have another text like hello everyone with the same features, with the same text, same color and all. So if you see the content, there are two texts with two different tags, but the content of the style is same here. So font size 40px, color blue, font size 40px and color blue. So here if we clearly observe here, we are actually redundanting the code. I mean there is a duplication of this code. So how do we rectify it? When we are already defining the same, why can't we use it in the same way? I mean in the single line we should be able to use it. So in order to define those, we have something called, we can define the styles in the form of a class. Okay, so how do we define CSS in the form of a class? Let us see. So in order to define styles, we have a style tag inside HTML. As I said, every tag will have its own closing and opening and closing tags. And how you're going to define a class? The class, for any class we are going to define, should start with a dot operator following with the name. I assume like I am giving my styles as the name. Okay, now this is a class. Class should start with a dot operator following with a name and opening with the flower braces and closure with the flower braces. So inside the content, whatever we are going to define, that belongs to this class. So assume like I'm going to define the same here, same blue and everything, or else let me change the color to some red. Okay, so now I define this inside a class. Now in order to use this class inside here, so how you're going to do is, instead of this style property we have something called as class and use the name here. That's it. The same way, just class and class name. So if you see here, I'm not returning the code, I'm not redeclaring the code here, but what I did is declare the code. I gave a class name and use the class name whenever I need, wherever I need. I can use it for n number, 100, any number of times. So if we run our page, so how it's going to show? There is no difference. I mean it is going to apply, two elements are being applied with the font and the color and the size, but the only difference is I have defined the CSS in the form of a class so that I can reuse it. Okay, so that is where the CSS, not just this one, we do have another way of defining CSS like as an external CSS that we'll be covering in the next sessions. Okay, so as we see in HTML CSS and coming to the JavaScript. Now if you see in this HTML and CSS, we could able to do something called showing the content and adding the beautification to the content. But what if I want to show the content logically? I want to show the content basing on some conditions. I want to loop the content basing on some conditions. I want to show the content basing on the events being done by the user. So how do we handle such things? So how do we add business logics to our applications? So there comes our JavaScript into our picture. So by using JavaScript, we can add the business logic to our page. Okay, so we can add some operations, we can add some events. So those things can be done using your JavaScript. So assume like, so first thing is we'll see how do we define JavaScript inside a HTML page. So this style should be actually inside the header tag. Okay. So how do we define a JavaScript inside HTML page? So we have a tag called as script, which is a script. Okay, so anything which we defined inside this tag is called as a JavaScript. Okay, we can define anything inside it. Now assume like I want to define a function. Consider like view function display. So how do we define functions in JavaScript? We have a keyword called as function, and following with the function name, open braces and close braces, and open the flower braces and close the flower braces, and define anything inside it. Assume like I want to have a pop-up saying hello students. It's just a single pop-up for me. It has to come up. So we can get the pop-up using one method called as alert. Okay. Now let us run this page. It never showed me a pop-up. I'm refreshing the page, but it's not showing because I have defined the function. So this is called as definition of a function. Implies giving the body to a function, but I never used it. I never called it. So how do we call a function? By using the function name like this. So now here I'm defining the function, and here I'm calling the function. Now we see the difference between. Okay. I'm going to call this function this is the function so there actually I haven't, the function name was different. The function name should be display. So the name when you're calling the function, it should be the same. Okay, now you run your application. So it says like hello students. So whatever we are defined inside this function, so it has come. So this is called as JavaScript. So we could able to do some operations. I mean, we can do some logical things. So assume, so what is the logical thing? Actually I haven't done any logical, so let us see how to add it. Assume like whatever the alert box is coming, right? Now I want to do something called on click of this hello all, I want to show that message. So how to do that? So that is called as events. In JavaScript, the main thing the heart of the JavaScript is we can add some events for the DOM element. So this is a text inside the DOM, I mean inside your web page. On click of that, there should be an event should be fired, and it has to show me a message. So that we can do using something called on click event. So this is called as event name, and when that event is been done, I want to call this method. So not just on the load of the page, but there is a function, but this need to be called when there is a click on this. Okay, so let us see how it is going to be executed. So on refresh, if you see here, I'm not getting any pop-up, but when the pop-up has to come, when I go and click on this text, there is a message called as hello students. So that is how we add events to the DOM element. So that is the main advantage we are having with the JavaScript. So this is what actually a JavaScript, HTML and CSS in a basic overview. Okay, so as I said, HTML, CSS and JS are the very basic things which we needed. Using HTML and CSS, we can add the text and we can add some beautification for that. And using JavaScript, we can add some business logic, and we can make the page to be rendered dynamically using the JavaScript. So next things will be covering in the next session. Thank you very much.